Ready? Be serious. Okay, hi everyone, welcome along to another MX5 Restorer how-to, and today this is with MX5 parts, and they have supplied us with a cam cover gasket and a CAS O-ring, which is cam angle sensor O-ring. So today we're going to be showing you how to replace the cam cover gasket on your MX5 and the cam angle sensor O-ring. Right, let's do this. Right, so Ashlee, oh that's a bit close, has prepared. Right, do you want to run through what you've got there?
Tools.
Right, come on, explain.
So we've got the gasket here, got a genuine one, always use genuine.
And why is that?
Because all the others always leak.
They do. Okay, so
Cam angle sensor O-ring, ratchet with extension, got a 10mm and a 12mm socket, got a 12mm spanner and another one just to lock into it.
People are going to be wondering why that's there, Ash.
I only use that to leverage the other spanners, I don't use it on an MX.
Okay, got a torque wrench, knife, pliers, Loctite, well, black silicone, shorting link for the check the timing and timing gun.
And coffee, of course.
Yeah, well, that's debatable. Right then, let's get to it. First things first, Ash. So, when you first thing to do is disconnect HT leads and undo the bolts at the back for the coil pack.
A lot of the genuine ones handily have the number of the cylinder written on them. You can see these are a bit faded, but they usually have it also written on the back as well, so you know which cylinder they go to.
Yeah, it is 4, 1, 2, 3. So when while Ash is carrying on, one thing to look for, as you can see in cylinder, what was that? Was that out of 3? This one, yeah. So Ash has just pulled this out of cylinder number 3. You know, you can tell that an easy way to tell if your cam cover gasket needs replacing is if you pull these out and you've got oil in the bottom as well. So you can just sort of see in there that there's oil residue in there. So this cam cover gasket definitely needed replacing.
So right, you can remove the two 12mm bolts that hold the cam cover in. We've got the two on the top here. There's also another one that's hidden right down the bottom. A lot of cars are missing them by this point, but if it's there, you'll find that that won't move back. So I'll get a spanner in there and loosen that off. You don't have to take it all the way out. It's just so you can get the coil pack far enough back that you can clear the cam cover. Do you want to come around here and see if you can get a...
So the best way to get to this is from the side. If you've got small hands, you'll find it easier.
The difference between the 1.6 and the 1.8 is that the sides of the engine are reversed. On the 1.6s,
good point, Ashlee. Mate,
you've got the cam angle sensor on the inlet cam, and the coil pack sits above the exhaust cam. On the 1.8s, that's reversed, so the coil pack sits over this side, and the cam angle sensor is on this side.
Hang on, another little tip that I like to do is take that out of the equation. Reason for doing that is, as you can see, Ashlee's hand is right by that, where that would be, and they go brittle and it's easy just to snap it off.
Right, next is to disconnect these so you can move these out of the way.
So that's the plug for the coils, isn't it?
Yep, one's for the coils. You've got another one here for the O2 sensor.
It's single wire, is it?
Yep.
So on the 1.8, the plug is actually this side over here. It's just easier to unplug it and take it out of the way. being stubborn, Ash.
Yep. Right. And then also the one on the cam angle sensor as well. Just pull that out the way.
Just tuck them to the side. Out the way there, don't they?
So that now gives the coil packet just enough room that you can sort of slide the cam cover out from underneath it.
Yeah. Okay, next step.
Next step,
Undo the
PCV valve. This usually just pulls out, which is nice and easy. And it's out there. Got a breather pipe in the front here. Right. Now we're ready to just undo the bolts that hold the cam cover on.
Not want the electric one.
Not everyone has an electric one, Chris.
Okay. Next step now is to remove the bolts. And what you'll see Ashlee do now is pull the cam cover away, and then he's going to quickly flip it so it's upside down. So this will minimise oil spillage as much as possible. There we go. And then obviously this is your cam cover gasket, but that feels really brittle. Okay, alright, so gonna crack on with the removal.
Yep, so we've got the cam cover off, so now it's just onto the cam angle sensor.
So obviously if you're just, at this point here, if you're just changing your cam cover gasket, then you can skip forward past this part. But this, generally if your cam angle sensor O-ring has not been replaced, it will need doing. So you can see here there's a 12mm and a 12mm on this bracket. These just need to be removed, and then you can pull this bracket out, and then there's a 12mm adjuster bolt at the back here which needs to be removed as well.
Are we doing the thing about marking it up first? Or?
Yes, we are, Ash. Yes, so ideally, when you've done this procedure and you've taken it off, you need to retime the engine back up. Now, if you're at home and you don't have a timing gun, this is a little trick to do before you remove everything. So what Ashlee's done there is put 3 marks on. You can see the line here, which is the bracket, and then that's the cam cover. So obviously when you take these apart and put them back in, you can line these back up and you'll be pretty much in the ballpark where you were. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put it back on using this, but we will be rechecking the timing just to make sure. But if you're at home, haven't got a timing gun, this is going to put it back in the ballpark and it'll be fine.
Bolt out the back. On the Mark 1 1.8s, it tends to be a much longer bolt with the head of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a different bolt, isn't it?
I think that is. I don't think.
Don't they normally have the bolt the same on the other side as well?
Yeah, I think they do. I have seen ones like this before.
It's still a 12 mil. Okay, those two screws have been removed, so you can just pull that up like that. And there we go. Ta-da. So this is your cam angle sensor, which tells the ECU when to fire, basically, in terms of the position of the cam, which is on those lugs there. It's also worth noting that you cannot put this back in the wrong way. One lug is bigger than the other, so don't worry about if it spins round and you won't get it back in the right place. It will only go back in one way. Are you refreshed now?
I'm a bit more confident.
Sorted.
Sorted.
Right, so next step.
Put the new one on after we've taken the old one off.
So I like to see how brittle it is, how easy it snaps. Should we give it the brittle test?
If you want. Seems it's not round anymore. It is completely flat, which would so it's been in there a long time.
So it's going to snap in half, isn't it? Snap. No?
There's still a little bit of give in it. Not a lot though. Definitely feels more closer to plastic than rubber.
So what are you using there to hoik that off? Just a very small screwdriver?
Yeah, that's what you get in a Christmas cracker.
A lot of your tools are like that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see cracks.
Cracks.
Give it the stretch test. Hang on, before you do it. Show.
Close
So,
up.
hang on. Blurry. So as you can see, very heavily cracked.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yep. So needed replacing. So a small clean up.
That one goes on there much easier than the other one came off. And the fact that it's actually rubber and not gone brittle. And then you can see this one's round and not completely flat on one side like that one was.
So just got to clean up the head area now. And we can slot that in. So obviously cam cover's been taken away, so there's oil residue or where the new gasket has got to go. And now the next important thing is going to be to clean up the sealer in these corners of the here, there, and the residue, which will be over there as well, where the cam angle sensor is. It's very important to do this procedure. I'm just trying to get the better shot. There we go. Go straight down. If you don't carry out this procedure, the chances are that it could end up leaking. Very highly chance. So this needs to be cleaned up, because one of the next steps will be to put some new sealant in. Okay, so the head's now cleaned up where the gasket's going to sit. As you can see in the corners, it's been cleaned up. A little bit there. So basically you want it to be nice and clean. Onto the cam cover. Alright, let's remove the old cam cover gasket. And to do that, you just pull. Does it feel brittle?
It's pretty brittle. It's not the worst I've had. It's still in one piece, so I mean, sometimes they're like glass. It doesn't feel very much like rubber, to be fair. I'd also say it's been changed at some point, because that looks like it's too flat to be an OEM.
Yeah, that's a giveaway of also knowing that your cam cover gasket needs replacing. There should be a little lip, which you can sort of maybe. I think this lighting is proving a bit difficult for the focusing, but you can see some lines within there, and that lip normally sticks down.
It sticks out a lot more, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that goes in the bin.
It's not the bin. So messy.
So Ashlee's just going to give it a quick wipe. Cool. And then one last thing is just to make sure there's no lumps or debris in the grooves. And then take your new Mazda cam cover gasket. So it will only go one way. Easy way to tell, that's the front, because you've got the two loops for the camshafts, and then one at the back for the cam angle sensor.
Which as said will be on different sides depending on which engine you have.
So Ashlee's just going around and making sure that it's all laying in there flat. So that's it, that's ready to go on. So now, head's all cleaned up, new gaskets installed in the cam cover, new O-ring is on the CAS. Sealant time now, isn't it?
No.
About cleaning that up actually.
Yeah, we clean that up. So still some sealant.
Yeah.
And it just pulls off.
Okay, so that can be bolted on. Now some people out there may say that you have to apply sealant to the bottom of this. I've done it with putting sealer on and without putting sealer on, and the result is the same, no leaks. So it will only go in one way. So Ashlee's just going to spin it round and that's it, until it slots in. Nice.
And then loosely just put the bolt back just in the back here, just to hold that sensor in.
Yep, keep it in place.
Stop it dropping out. And then we pop the cap back over.
I don't know if it's that's luck actually, but have you seen where you've positioned that cam angle sensor to the markings?
No, that's many years of experience.
Oh, that's many years of experience knowing not just how you put that in. Okay.
I can time a Mark 1 1.6 up by smell.
By smell? I do it by taste.
I prefer not to. I mean, you never know where they've been.
Haven't got to go mental tight with these.
bang on, isn't it? I'll leave that's tighter now, but it's not tight enough to hold that sensor in place, just because we still need to adjust it up with the tightening gun.
Okay, I'm going to get your schmutz out now. So we're using a new tub.
Fresh.
What we're using there, Ash? Show.
Loctite SI 5980 black silicone with silicone Schwartz.
Yeah, so I only like using this stuff because I don't really trust anything else really.
Tastes nice.
Stripped many engines down and used that on the sump and never ever had a leak, so. See, Ashlee has just put it in the corner there. You can see basically where the cam cover gasket is going to sit, which is here, so as long as it covers that whole area. So got it in that corner, this corner there, and at the back. Cam cover's ready to go back on. So this is the reversal now. So bring the cam cover over upside down, and then last minute it's easy to hold it with the filler cap. That's how I hold it anyway. Everyone does things a bit different. I'm going to stand back and watch Ashlee do this. So as you saw, Ashlee had it a bit of an angle, put it down at the back, pretty much got it in place, and then laid it down flat. And now it's the reverse procedure of earlier on, so bolts back in. Ash, I think that might be a bit overkill.
Reckon?
Have you got the right socket on there?
It's 10mm. It'll fit.
Maybe you should use the little one.
You reckon I should use a torque wrench?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
It's nearly bigger than you.
Bigger than 10mm.
Should we show the trick with this first, if you haven't got a torque wrench?
Yeah, if you want.
Grab your ratchet. A little trick that I like to do, so if you haven't got a torque wrench, is hold your ratchet in your hand like that, and then bring the bolts up just a little bit. You'll find if you've done them finger tight, I like to sort of go across. Now the torque settings for these I think range from, was it 45 to 73 inch-pounds or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not tight, but when you're doing them up, if you do them in a sort of pattern of diagonal across.
The correct pattern, according to the manual, is straight up through the middle, round, and back up again.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
sort of
think
like a snail shell.
I don't think it really matters, but I like to do it across. So now I've got it to the point where I'm not exerting a lot of force on there. But you'll find that when you start going over them, some will be a bit looser and then they start getting a bit more uniformly correct. And if you've got your hand, if you've got this in the centre, you can only twist so hard, but you haven't got a...
Less leverage.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll do this and then we'll measure what they are on the torque wrench. But if you haven't got a torque wrench and you don't want to like over tighten them, that's the best pattern I find to do. Oh, runaway socket. Right. I'll hand you back to Ash now. Now that I've done my little bit. That's what we're going to set it up for.
100 newton meters.
100?
No. 65 pound-inch, which is also 7.3 newton meters.
Right, okay.
And some other stuff as well.
So let's see how right or wrong I was. What's it say on there?
That was 78, so a bit over.
Not far off, are they? You got movement on some of them, didn't you?
A little bit.
Yeah. So it was in the ballpark. So if you haven't got a torque wrench, don't go mental with the wrist action. Just a twist and you're done.
Sensible faces.
Yep, okay. Right, on to the next bit.
Together, so you got that in,
PCV valve back in,
breather hose back.
breather hose back on. A bit of oil there from the HTV. A bit of a wipe. Also, these sometimes can get lodged in on the spark plug and you have to use a pair of long nose pliers to get to. It's very rare, sometimes happens if an engine's got a bit too hot, and we have had circumstances where they have been stuck in, the HT leads have been literally melted in on engines that have got very hot. So Ashley's just putting the bolts in for the coil packs. Timing check now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so while this warms up, we'll be back in a mo as it is ready. And we're all warmed up. So, right, so we've got the timing gun connected. There's spark pickup, directional, line with a spark, grounded out, and then picking up the 12 volts from the 12 volt supply that's in the engine bay, which is that blue plug down there. If anyone ever wondered what that was for, it gives you a 12 volt supply. Right, so over to you, Ash.
So the engine's all warmed up. So you stop the ECU sort of altering the timing whilst you're trying to check it. You put it into test engine mode, which you go into the diagnostic box. So you've got here. This Smart 1 has ABS, which is quite rare, so the box is in a slightly different position. It's flipped round, but they all sort of have the same sort of thing. So what we're aiming for here is to go between ground, as you can see in the label there, and 10, which is for test engine. So you plug it in, you should notice a slight difference in the engine note as it's easy to take loose control. So what's vital when you're checking the ignition timing is checking that the base idle is set at the right point as well, which should be sort of between 800 and 900 RPM. This one's dipped quite a lot. The base idle is just a little bit too low, which will in turn knock out our timing reading. So I'm just going to adjust that up. So we're sitting about 800.
There we go.
About 800 now.
It's quite rare that you'll have to do that procedure that Ashlee has just done with the RPM. 9 times out of 10 things will be okay. It's just on this one we're doing, the RPM was a bit low. Okay.
Looking for 10 degrees, and that's bang on.
Sorry about this, but what Ashlee is trying so I can show you is Ashlee is looking for 10 degrees. I don't know if that's picking it up. It might not be doing it. I don't think it is. But it's bang on. So where Ashlee had marked the cam angle sensor with the lines and put it back in place, no change. So we've just covered this by checking the timing, but 9 times out of 10, if you mark that cam angle sensor right on that cap, on that cap, you'll be in the right place and you're good to go. I think that's it, isn't it, Ash?
All done.
Okay, well, time to wrap this video up. Thanks again to MX5 Parts for working with us on this one. You can go there, get all your bits for your MX5. Right, hope you're enjoying these videos. See you on the next one. Bye bye.